Hello and welcome to Plot Layers. Today, we'll be reviewing the 1991 movie titled Dying Young. Enjoy, and don't forget to like and subscribe. The movie begins in a lively American city. A woman named Hilary O'Neill picks up some flowers and groceries. When she gets home, she finds her boyfriend having an affair with another woman. Hilary grabs her things and walks out to her friend's car. As she's putting her bags into the car, the useless boyfriend runs out and asks for the keys to the house. She throws them at him. A few days pass, and Hilary is now living with her mother. Mrs. O'Neill is on the phone while her daughter flips through the newspaper and comes across an ad looking for an attractive woman to work as a nurse for a certain family. Hilary takes interest in it. After the call, Hilary's mom suggests she go back to her ex, saying he supported her for a while and that maybe they could rekindle the relationship, but Hilary isn't having that kind of advice. The next day, Hilary dresses up and rushes to the interview location. She arrives at a wealthy home and is directed inside, where she finds other candidates waiting for their turn. When her time comes, she's called in and meets the head of the house, Mr. Richard Geddes. As she sits down, she spots a man in another room smiling at her, and she smiles back. The boss looks at the newspaper and realizes Hilary is responding to the job ad. He asks if she's a nurse, and Hilary says she isn't. As she tries to explain further, he dismisses her, saying he needs a nurse for his son. She's sent off, and when Mr. Richard offers to pay for her cab, she fires back, saying she doesn't want his help. As she walks away, the butler of the house, Malachi, runs after her and begs her to stop. When she finally listens, he explains there's been a mistake and she's being asked to return for an informal interview, downstairs. They go back, and Hilary takes a different path to a lower level. She opens a door and walks in. Inside, she meets the same man who smiled at her earlier. He introduces himself as Victor Geddes and tells her to sit. He starts by asking her how old she is. She says she's 23. Victor reveals he's 28 and notes that Hilary isn't a nurse. She agrees. Hilary mentions she once attended nursing school but eventually dropped out. When Victor asks why, she explains that she started working at a hospital, where the sisters would talk to the ones at the school. They warned that if workers wore skirts too short or committed sins like French kissing, they'd be punished with dirty chores. But there were also wonderful moments, like cleaning up babies and handing them to their parents. Victor smiles and reveals that he has leukemia, also known as blood cancer. He shares that he's had it for 10 years, since high school and throughout college. He says the illness never stopped him from living a normal life. Victor then asks Hilary if she knows what chemotherapy is. He explains that he undergoes chemotherapy every time he fails a blood test and that he needs help during this process, and that's where she comes in. He asks if she'd like the job. Hilary smiles and says he makes it sound so attractive. She says his father wanted a nurse, but Victor tells her to forget what his dad said. He's the one hiring, not his father. He adds that his dad will be traveling to Japan soon. After a few more conversations, Victor shows Hilary the room she'll be staying in and tells her she'll be earning a weekly salary of $400. That evening, Hilary goes to a club and tells her friend Shauna about the interview. When Shauna hears about the weekly payment, she advises Hilary to take the job and lists all the great things she could do with the money. As they chat, Hilary spots her ex-boyfriend and angrily walks out of the club. The next day, Hilary moves into the house. Victor helps her bring in her things, but Hilary, still hurting, sets some boundaries. She tells Victor that coming into her room was never part of the deal, and Victor apologizes. As they talk, a young man named Momer walks in, and Victor introduces him as his driver. Momer drives him to chemotherapy every Monday morning. When Monday comes, they ride to the hospital while Victor makes small talk, naming houses and the years they were built. He's a bit nerdy. He tells Hilary that they inject him with poison at the hospital, explaining that the goal is to kill the cancer cells without killing him. He warns that the treatment may cause side effects like sweating, shaking, vomiting, and sometimes even screaming. They arrive at the hospital, and Hilary watches as Victor goes through the procedure before heading to the hallway to wait. She quietly observes the different sick people, from young to old, and feels a sense of gratitude for her own health. When they return home, Victor runs to the bathroom and starts vomiting. Hilary runs after him and helps clean him up. Days go by, and the reactions get worse. Victor shakes violently, vomits constantly, and is irritated by loud music. But Hilary stays with him through it all, hugging him and calmly telling him it's going to be alright. One evening, after putting Victor to sleep, Hilary walks around the house and enters a room filled with photos of Victor from childhood to his college days. She sees how happy and lively he used to be, and breaks down over the pain he's currently going through. She runs to her room crying and starts packing to leave, but she can't bring herself to do it. Hilary calls her friend and tearfully says Victor is being injected with poison. She says she thought he was going to die. She feels sorry for him, and the worst part is, nobody comes to visit, he's completely alone. She says she's overwhelmed and thinks Victor needs someone who's a real nurse to properly care for him. She says she doesn't think she can continue the job and decides she'll tell him tonight. When night comes, Hilary makes dinner. Then a call comes in, she tries to answer it, but Victor tells her to leave it. The call goes to voicemail. It's Victor's dad. He asks how his son is doing and says he's checking to see how the chemo went. He mentions that he knows Victor hired the girl, but doesn't mind. He says he'll be back in a week and tells his son he loves him. After the call ends, Hilary brings some omelets and says it's the only food in the house. She then mistakenly places a glass of milk on Victor's papers, and he quickly removes it. Hilary tries to apologize, but Victor tells her it's fine. He explains that it's his PhD thesis in art history, and asks Hilary if she'd like to see the artist his work is based on. She agrees. They go to a room, and Victor shows her art by Gustav Klimt. He says Klimt was obsessed with women, claiming he needed them like some people need food. Another slide is of Valerie Nuzel, who, he says, for a while embodied everything, from beauty to love and sex. Eventually, Klimt got bored of her and passed her on. She died 5 years later, supposedly of a broken heart. Hilary keeps a sad expression at the mention of a broken heart. Victor shares more of his work, then apologizes for not being totally honest about the chemo process. He offers to pay Hilary, saying she deserves it, and tells her she can leave if she wants. But Hilary decides to stay and tells him it's okay. Hilary eventually goes to the health sciences library to read up on Victor's condition, hoping to find better ways to help him. Later, she buys healthy food and clears out the junk food from the house. One day, Hilary walks in on Victor during a painful episode. She tries to comfort him, asking what she can do, but Victor, frustrated and in pain, yells at her. Hilary calmly hugs him and stays by his side as he cries in her arms. Later, Hilary visits her mom and brings her some gifts. They talk about Victor, and her mom subtly hints that Hilary and Victor might have more than just a working relationship. Hilary smiles, suggesting she's starting to feel something for him. When Hilary returns to the mansion and is doing her nightly routine, Victor knocks. She answers the door, and Victor thanks her for staying by his side during his episode and apologizes for his earlier outburst. Hilary says it's fine, and Victor asks her out to dinner. Victor takes Hilary to a fancy restaurant. As they make small talk, he notices that a fancy restaurant is not really her style. When he brings it up, Hilary agrees and says, "You want to have some real fun." They head to a club. When Hilary asks Victor to dance, he shyly says he's not a good dancer. Hilary goes ahead and dances on stage while Victor watches with admiration. Afterward, she returns to Victor and notices the club isn't his scene, so they decide to go home. At home, Victor plays a song and says it was his mother's favorite. He shares that she died when he was 9, then asks Hilary to dance with him. They dance to All the Way by Jeffrey Osborne. Hilary pulls back and thanks him for the night. Before she walks off, Victor says he's done with chemotherapy. Today was the last day. He suggests they go on vacation to celebrate. Hilary worries that something might happen on the trip, but Victor promises to come back if anything goes wrong. He says they deserve an adventure, a safe adventure, and also mentions he needs to finish his thesis, but can't do it without her. She thinks about it and reluctantly agrees. The next day, they set off on their adventure. Victor admits he can't drive, and Hilary teases him. She takes her hands off the wheel and tells him he's going to learn how to drive today. Eventually, they arrive at a seaside rental house. As they unpack, Hilary finds some medication and asks what it's for. Victor says it's just in case he's in pain, but insists he won't need it. That evening, they stop by a bar. Victor feels a bit insecure about his hair, but Hilary tells him not to worry, people will be too busy with their drinks to even notice. They head inside and meet the bartender. They introduce themselves, and the bartender says drinks are on the house. When he asks Victor what happened to his hair, Victor gives Hilary a "told you so" look. They make up a story about how he lost his hair and call each other Han as they talk, but the guys at the counter don't believe them, and they all laugh. When night comes, Victor walks into Hilary's room and says he can't sleep. He asks if it's okay to lie next to her, saying he'd feel much calmer with her nearby, but only if she's comfortable with it. Hilary says it's fine and makes room in her bed but maintains her distance. The next morning, Victor talks with Hilary and tells her he has an idea, warning that it might be a bit sensitive at first, but asks her to hear him out. She asks what the idea is about, and Victor says it's regarding her education. He remarks that even though Hilary likes to joke around, he sees something in her and would like to teach her. Hilary asks what he wants to teach, and Victor says they can start with Klimt, mentioning that he noticed her interest in the artist's work earlier. He says she's helped him a lot, and he wants to repay her kindness in some way, but only if she's interested. She agrees, and they begin learning together about art and history. Eventually, their bond grows closer, and Victor's hair even starts to grow back. They become friends with some guys from the bar and start hanging out, playing poker together. One evening, Victor asks Hilary to dance with him. As they dance, the tension between them builds. Hilary's feelings for Victor have changed, but she's still afraid to commit, especially after her last relationship with her ex-boyfriend. She pulls away and tells Victor she thinks their arrangement should end. She claims that Victor is doing better now and no longer needs her around, then quietly walks to her room while Victor stands there, torn between love and the fear of losing her. That night, unable to sleep, Victor walks into Hilary's room and lies next to her. Their emotions, no longer hidden, finally break through, and they make love. Afterwards, Victor confesses his feelings and tells Hilary he loves her and doesn't want to lose her. Hilary responds by saying he has changed her and promises not to leave him. Overjoyed, Victor runs outside the next morning and takes off his clothes in the freezing cold, screaming with happiness. With their true feelings now revealed, they spend the day running around, simply having fun. Later, Gordon, one of their friends from the bar, comes to visit. He's there to help fix the heater and also brings a present. While he's outside retrieving it, Victor looks visibly jealous and makes comments about the way Gordon looks at Hilary, but she doesn't see Gordon that way. Gordon returns with the gift, an old black and white TV. Victor says they don't need a TV, but when a Jeopardy contestant episode comes on, Victor gets into his nerdy zone and starts answering questions correctly alongside Hilary and Gordon. It turns into a fun night. The next day, Victor and Hilary drive to the winery where Gordon works. Victor and Gordon greet each other, but Gordon keeps glancing at Hilary. Later, Gordon introduces them to a woman named Estelle Whittier. They chat, and Estelle invites them to stay for lunch. During lunch, Victor keeps staring at a nearby tomb. When Estelle asks if he knows what it is, Victor says it's a maze. Estelle confirms this and adds that she buried her 3 husbands there. She explains that the maze is hard to navigate, but Victor sees it as a challenge and is determined to go through it. After lunch, they go shopping. Hilary notices that Victor is sweating and worries he might be sick, but Victor brushes it off as normal. That night, Victor wakes up drenched in sweat and goes to the bathroom, telling himself it's just nothing serious. The next evening, Victor and Hilary visit Estelle for tea. Estelle reveals she has a gift for fortune-telling and says Hilary has great luck awaiting her at the end of her journey. She picks up Victor's teacup, but her expression becomes serious. Victor quickly snatches the cup from her hands and jokingly claims he has the same talent, then dramatically says the tea reveals he'll go through the maze and come out victorious. He runs outside with Gordon, visibly excited to tackle the maze. Gordon starts a timer, and Victor runs in. Moments later, Estelle and Hilary step outside, and Estelle expresses concern that Victor might get lost. Inside the maze, Gordon shouts that Victor has 3 minutes left. Victor starts to feel dizzy and tries to steady himself. Hilary, growing more worried, runs into the maze after him, calling his name. Victor collapses from dizziness, muttering, "God, no, no, please," before hearing Hilary's voice. He pulls himself up, runs to her, and they make their way out. Hilary asks why he didn't respond, but Victor dismisses her concern. Back home, while Hilary showers, Victor sneaks into the bathroom and takes out pain medication. After the shower, Hilary joins him in bed and kisses him, but when she tries to initiate intimacy, Victor pushes her away and makes a nasty remark. Upset, Hilary walks out. Victor goes to apologize, and Hilary asks if he's sick again. He lies and says no. She asks if he would tell her if he were, and Victor reluctantly says yes. On Christmas Eve, Hilary tells Victor that Gordon will be joining them for dinner because he had nowhere else to go. Victor simply says okay. Hilary senses that Victor is becoming distant and hiding something, but she chooses not to dwell on it. Later, Victor rushes to the bathroom, locks the door, and injects himself with the pain medication. Gordon arrives, and Victor briefly greets him while taking out the trash. At dinner, Gordon and Hilary seem to enjoy each other's company. Victor watches them with growing jealousy and eventually snaps, acting like a jerk and making both Hilary and Gordon uncomfortable. He stumbles and falls, and they help him to bed. After Gordon leaves, Hilary starts searching the house, suspecting something is wrong. She finds the used drugs in the trash outside. Confronting Victor, Hilary tells him he lied to her. Victor apologizes, saying he doesn't know what's come over him. Hilary suggests they return to the hospital to resume his treatment. Victor finally confesses, he never completed his chemotherapy. He says the pain has been unbearable for 10 years, and he can't keep going like this. Hilary breaks down as he continues. He says all he wants is to be with her for whatever time he has left. Through tears, Hilary responds. She says she's always done what he wanted, but what about what she wants? She says she can't just watch the man she's come to love give up and die. She tells him that every day she wakes up to check if he's still alive, if he can still eat, talk, or walk, and now he wants her to give up hope. She tells him he's being selfish and that she won't accept it. Hilary tearfully walks to her room and begins packing her bag. Later, she calls Victor's father and explains everything. His father thanks her and says he'll arrive at their location the next day. Early the next morning, Victor's dad is already at the location. He talks with his son, and it's revealed that Victor never told his dad where he had been all this time. His dad had been looking for him, even contacting the police. He asks if Victor hates him that much, but Victor says no, he loves his dad, he just wanted to be alone with the girl. His dad understands and says he can be with her as much as he wants, but only after he completes his treatment. He tells Victor he's taking him back to the hospital that day, but Victor makes a request, to let him go to the party that night. He says he wants to see Hilary one last time, and then he'll leave for the hospital the next morning. His dad agrees. The scene then shifts to the place where the party will be held. Hilary, Estelle, and others are decorating the venue. Hilary tells Estelle she won't be attending, saying Victor will probably be on his way to the city by the end of the day. Estelle replies that Victor called and specifically asked for Hilary to come to the party. She adds that she doesn't usually give advice, but after burying her 3 husbands, people used to make fun of her behind her back. She never understood what was funny about losing someone you love, especially when they were sick. Estelle urges Hilary to at least come and hear Victor out. When the party begins, Hilary arrives, accompanied by none other than Gordon. As she enters, Victor spots her. He stands and admires how beautiful she looks. Later, Victor's dad approaches Hilary and thanks her once again for calling him. She asks where Victor is, but his dad says he's lost sight of him. Before she can say anything, Gordon asks Hilary to dance and leads her to the floor. As they dance, Victor walks through the crowd, his eyes fixed on Hilary. She spots him and leaves Gordon to look for Victor. She finds him, and they have a quiet chat. Victor tells Hilary he'll be leaving with his dad for the hospital that night. Hilary says that's a good idea and that the hospital will take care of him. Victor replies that Gordon will take care of her. Hilary insists it's not like that, she'll be leaving for the city soon and plans to visit him. But Victor ends their relationship and breaks up with her. He kisses her one last time and walks away, leaving Hilary standing there, heartbroken. She quickly composes herself. When she sees Victor's father, she asks when they'll be leaving. He says the next morning. Armed with this new information, she rushes back to Victor's house and finds him packing his bag. Hilary confronts him, asking if he's just going to run away again. Victor says he's tired of hospitals and doesn't want to hurt Hilary anymore, so it's better if he removes himself from the equation. But Hilary doesn't give up. She proposes driving him to the hospital that night. Victor says he can't go on, he's afraid of hoping. He says he loves Hilary, and being around her makes him want to live. Hilary tells him, then live. She says, we don't know when we'll die, and we only have this moment to live. So let's fight for this moment and live. Victor breaks down in tears. He asks, you're still young and can have anything you want, why me? Hilary responds, because I love you. She promises that she'll never leave him, as long as he goes to the hospital. She vows to be by his side for as long as they both live. And if they grow old together, she'll be the last thing he sees when he dies, because she loves him. Her words touch Victor, and he changes his mind. He decides to fight for their love. Hilary, overwhelmed with joy, hugs him tightly. The next day, they leave the house, ready to begin a new journey and fight for what they have. The movie ends. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more great movies like this. See you in the next one.